Welcome to the Faith Geek podcast. The Faith Geek podcast is your weekly source for all things current in geek culture. From entertainment to sports, parenting to religion. Be sure to check us out on the web by visiting www.thefaithgeek.com. Now, let us welcome Brent Whitstone and Joe Gerbery.
Hey guys, welcome to the Faith Geek podcast. We are actually joined today by everyone on the Faith Geek team.
Everyone's here. We're all here.
This is our special late night edition of the Faith Geek podcast.
Don't blame us if we get punchy.
Yeah, it's already happened.
You're all going to have to get out of my house soon. We just started. You're all going to have to get out of my house soon.
Joe and Karen have to be at work in 8 hours.
Legit, I actually do have to be at work in legit 8 hours.
But
Actually,
you guys
less
could
than that by now.
You guys could prevent us from going to work by buying advertisements and buying from our advertisers, so we actually get paid to do this in something other than Funyuns.
Which we have a bag up here tonight.
Yeah, there's Funyuns floating around
Pretty sure
here
it's
somewhere.
gone already, though.
Wasn't there supposed to be hugs? Wasn't that part of
Hey,
the
listen, you guys aren't doing as well.
Times are tough.
Yeah, times are tough at the
Go get your own hugs.
So we actually last weekend, was it last weekend?
No, 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago, we were at Colossal Con in Sandusky, Ohio, at the Kalahari Resort, and so we're going to recap a little bit of Colossal Con. It was freaking awesome, except for the housekeeping staff at the Red Roof Inn in Sandusky, Ohio, stole my power cord to my desktop. Which is why, if we were videotaping tonight, you would see my stress mark on my hat that I'm wearing. I'm still stressed out because I do not have a power cord for my desktop computer.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, can you believe that?
No, I can't.
I can, because they are shady.
Because it happened?
Because it happened. So, I'm a little stressed right now. But if you guys have logged on to our blog recently, you notice that we have completely changed. It's 1,000 times more awesome than it was the last time that you logged in.
Because I only have one thing on it.
What?
Because I only have one thing, so that's more awesome.
Whatever. You can comment now. You can share to all your favorite social media. We've been getting a lot of good feedback and a lot of comments on it. So make sure, if you guys are reading, that you take the time to comment. Let us know what you like about it. Comment on our articles, and we'll respond back to you and get a conversation started. It's the best way to reach out to us at the Faith Geek, to let us know what you like, what you don't like. If I don't like your comment, though, I'm not going to approve it, so make sure you're nice. Unless you want to pick on Karen, you can pick on her. Like, I paid someone the other day to say she was funny. It was a thing on Fiverr. I could pay someone $5 to let Karen know she was funny.
Looks or is?
Ooh.
Oh,
you just said looks.
No, I did not. I did not say that.
We're going to run this back.
Yeah.
I want everybody to comment on this so that was looks.
Wow, Joe. Someone's sleeping in the cat house tonight.
Me and Mandu on the couch.
But anyway, so I want to talk with Chris. Chris is here joining us. He is like our convention cosplay raver. Speaking of raver, listen. Okay, Chris Ward I've known for like 2 years now. And we were all sharing a hotel room. And so we went to Colossal Con on Friday night. That's when the rest of the team got there. And we met up with Chris to get the room key and our press badges. And so Chris is like, don't wait up because I'm going to the rave tonight.
Yeah.
And so we were in our van, and Chris like met us, and like we drove away, and I rolled up the window, and me, Heather, and Francis all looking at each other, and we were like, Chris is going to the rave? So it was So like the whole conversation from like 10 o'clock at night till about 1 o'clock in the morning, Chris is really going to the rave. Chris goes to rave. I wonder if Chris is dancing at the rave. He's going to meet some hot cosplay chick
at the rave.
Like, so we go to bed at about 1 o'clock.
We were in bed so before 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we're old.
We're not that cool.
4 o'clock in the morning rolls around, and Chris gets home from the rave.
which
Like,
we never do.
I don't know if
I
you
still
met...
go to the
I like
hotel
how
room.
you call the hotel room home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our home away from home when we're traveling.
Right, after he just complained about it. But anyway, so I come into the
Hey,
hotel
I've
room
had
after the
stolen
rave,
from home, too.
and all these guys are just snoring away in there. I'm like, what the heck? And so it was so loud for me to try and go to bed. I barely got any sleep that night anyway. But yeah, it was good. I went to the rave both nights, and yeah, a lot of fun. I always liked dancing in general. I used to go to the clubs all the time with my cousin. Good times. And yeah, that's just one of the many things that you'll find out about me.
Did you have the glow sticks? Like, were you dancing with glow
I
sticks?
did have some glow sticks, actually.
I knew it.
It's a rave. Why would he not have glow sticks?
Yeah, I just want to make sure he was like fully into it.
By the way, and also tonight, just so we all know, I've known Chris for a couple of years, and as soon as Prep was talking about this night that we were in prep, and we were like, yeah, we're talking about making fun of Chris going to rave. I'm like, you've always gone to the raves. I know you've gone to the raves. He's like,
You've seen the pictures that I posted.
I guess you're just a better friend than I am, Joe.
I've been going to the,
Rub it in my face.
I've been going to these for years. I'm like, yeah, I know you have.
Uh-huh.
Just like it's all fairly normal to me, but to Brent, it was
Yeah, it's
The second coming
novelty to Brent.
the second coming of Christ.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was.
I'm the quiet one in the group, so they don't expect these things out of me. Yeah, right.
Listen, all you Disney cosplay chicks, Chris is a raver. Look him up when we go. Where are we going to be at next? All American 5.
All American, yeah, that's beginning of next month.
Yeah, July 6th.
July 6th.
July 6th in downtown Warren at Packard Music Hall. It's only $3 to get in, and there's going to be a ton of vendors there.
Yeah, this is mostly a vendors convention. It's mostly for people to go and buy stuff. Primarily,
aren't they doing a cosplay contest though?
There is going to be a cosplay contest being judged by Night Mage, and there's going to be a few other special guests there, a few special guest artists.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely look up the event itself, look up the site, and it's going to have some pretty cool people there.
And we just blogged about it. Two of the guests, the one guest was the artist for Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
During the Silver Age of comics.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day. And then the other guy was Green Lantern. He was the artist for Volume 3 of Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Or Series 3, I mean, of Green Lantern. So there's some pretty cool people for a local, smaller con. And for $3 to get in, it's a good family thing to do for Northeast Ohio people, Western PA. So make sure you come out and check that out. It's an all-day event.
We're doing a live podcast from there.
Yeah, we'll be live podcasting.
Get to go and be there this time.
Yeah, we might actually get to see Joe and Karen out on the road. It's on the road for them, but it's like a minute from my house.
Yeah.
And then 2 weekends from that is Cost Bowl for Charity, and we're actually going to be talking about that. I did a little blog on it on the site, but we'll be talking about that next week. And that's another thing for you Northeast Ohio, Western PA people that you're going to want to keep your eyes on. And then the following weekend we'll be at Glass City Con in Toledo, covering that. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up for the rest of the summer. You guys will be seeing a lot more on our con and cosplay page.
July has definitely turned into a much busier month than I thought it was going to. Plus, we've got the Great Lakes Medieval Fair that's going to be starting up pretty soon. And,
yeah, we have a ton going on in July.
There's a Renaissance Fair out in Butler, I found out, where I work. I have no idea when, but there is one.
You should let people know where you work.
I'm not going to let people know where I work. I work in the city of Butler, PA.
There's only 2 stores there, so...
Trust me, you'll be able to find me.
So yeah, if you're in the Northeast Ohio, Western PA area, you're going to see us out at all these major events that are going on. So make sure you stop by, say hi.
You might not see all of us, but you'll see some of us.
You'll see the cool ones that get weekends off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it boils down to. But stop by, say hi. Maybe we'll invite you on the podcast as our fan of the day. But so check that out. But anyway,
Brent only has one.
No, I don't.
Wait, he has that many?
Zing.
Speaking of fans, hey, listen, everyone who wrote me on my birthday, all those special birthday wishes, thank you very much.
I didn't.
Yeah, some people, like one of my very best friends in the whole wide world and business partner.
Did you not even text him?
Not until the 18th of June.
I texted him in the morning,
Yeah.
and I always right after I wish you a birthday, I was like, "Hey, don't forget it's Brent's birthday today."
I had every intention of writing this big long Facebook thing. I had texted him this. I'm like,
hold on,
I was
I'm
going to
gonna
make
get
You know what intentions are worth? Absolutely nothing, Joe.
Here, I'm going to read you the
Nothing
text
without
message
actions.
for my birthday that I get from my
I'm
business
so
partner
sorry, Brent.
and very best
forgot
friend.
your birthday. I only have one friend. And
It's
I forgot
okay,
you.
because Steve Zupo, if you're listening, Zupo forgot too.
I told him.
I just figured
I saw
that
him
you
day
guys...
of and told him.
Wait, so you told Zupo to remember Brent's birthday?
And
but
he
you
completely
forgot.
forgot.
And I
Wow.
forgot. Yep.
This is the chain there. If it wasn't for me, none of them would have known. I texted Joe and was like, "Hey," and then Joe texted Zupo.
Oh, I was this suppose. That was the day that we were.
Oh, you guys
You
had
guys
your...
in your meeting with
We were
your
in
boss
Pittsburgh.
guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get a text message on Wednesday. Now, mind you, my birthday was on Tuesday, June 17th, the greatest day in the history of mankind.
Because it's my dad's birthday.
Next to the birth of Christ.
Oh wait, and yours.
So I get a text message at 8:30 in the morning. Dude, I had every intention of writing a big happy birthday thing on Facebook for you, but I got too busy. Oh, thanks, Joe. I love you like a brother. I'm sorry I didn't get to see you on your B-Day, but you know how much I love you. All I could respond was, LOL. I know you love me. No worries. He responds, okay, good. And then
And that was it.
That's
all
all
I
that you need.
that was it. So, it's okay. People I've never met before, like from the Philippines, were writing much more loving birthday wishes on my Facebook wall than I got from Joe. But hey, it's alright. Filipinos, I love you now more than Joe. So,
Karen made you a cake. I think you should plug the...
Karen made me a cake. She made me... I love the host club. So, all of our Animaniacs out there.
That's a different thing.
I know, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
Those of you who know about the host club, Aaron made me...
Aaron.
Aaron.
Oh,
Wow.
Karen.
First you
Funny
forget your
looking
last
Karen.
name. Now you can't remember her
birthday,
first
but-
name.
Yeah.
I told 12 people to tell you that birthday.
this is the late night edition, in case
My,
you're
how the-
catching...
My how the turntables.
I'm gonna kick you all out.
Turntables, so now we're DJs?
Alright.
It's a Michael Scott joke.
Let's start. Karen Bell. Ball. What's your last name?
Bell.
I'm kidding. Oh, so
The running gag continues.
all right, we're just gonna move on. Let's get back to Colossal Con because that'll let Chris talk for a little bit and give me a break. What happened the first Thursday? You were out there Thursday, right? Or did you miss Thursday?
No, I didn't make it out Thursday because financial issues, which give us money, people.
Give us
so
money.
we
So
can
there
go.
you go.
But anyway, so I went out there on Friday. I got there about early afternoon or so. And I just immediately noticed the increase in population, even from last year. I was there all weekend last year, and there were a lot of people. I think they say it was anywhere from like 600 to 8,000 people last year, and there must have been easily that many this year, from what I could tell.
Well, I know on Saturday, I think it was, there had to be 10,000 plus people there.
Gosh, I don't think it.
It definitely
Because
felt like it, at least with how crowded it was there.
Cedar Point, actually, their water main broke.
Yes.
So they shut down and
That's
everyone was coming to
right.
Kalahari. So you had all these con people going, and then you had all the normal Cedar Point people going.
Yeah.
So there easily was over 10,000 people
Yeah.
there on Saturday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say conservative estimates, there were 8,000 regular attendees
Yeah, I
throughout.
would say so. And I've been going to this con for about 5 years now, and I can tell you, 5 years when I first went to this con, it wasn't anywhere close to this big. I mean, it probably had a few thousand, I'd say, at the most.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, especially with an event like the Masquerade, which is the huge cosplay contest with any convention. And the first time I went to it, I was able to walk in after it had started, sit in the second row, and not really have any issues or whatever. The very next year, there was already a line building up for it. And then just to see the increase in attendees is just going to show you how popular the genre is getting and how popular this type of media is getting in general, as far as anime and also just going to conventions. People are finding, you can go to conventions and meet other people who share your same interests.
And I was talking to people, like, you would think that this was just a local thing, especially with it being in Sandusky, where there's nothing but Cedar Point and Kalahari. Like, it actually, you drive through cornfield to get to Kalahari. But I was talking to people from Columbus.
Not through.
Not through. Yeah.
You're not ruining people's
That
crops.
would be fun, though. I mean, do a little bahaing on the way.
Sorry, it was like 5 minutes I spoke last on the podcast. I had to make sure we remembered all the stuff
Yeah,
here.
Joe's still here, for anyone wondering. He contributes to the podcast like he does to the blog. So,
Although I can't say much because I haven't posted one in a couple of weeks yet.
There were people from Columbus, there were people from Michigan, there were people from Pittsburgh there. So they were really drawing more than just the local population.
Oh yeah,
which was pretty neat.
This convention has definitely exploded over the last few years, especially. And the Kalahari actually expanded their convention center since I first started going to this. Like the first 2 years. Like the whole section that's closer towards the hotel side, that was all that there was.
Okay.
And then the whole part past it, where they had like the giant lion and all that, that's all the add-on.
Okay.
And so they added that on about my third year of going to this, so like 3 years ago. And it's already starting to seem too small for what even now they're doing.
It was very tight in there. I really enjoyed it, and I think the rest of us enjoyed it. My only complaint is it has nothing to do with the convention goers or the convention staff or volunteers.
It was the map.
No, it was with Kalahari. They had vending machines, soda machines set up that were labeled $1, dollar price sticker on there, but they had went around and upped the price to $3 for a bottle of pop.
Yeah.
And to me, like, we're paying to get in already, or some of us are paying to get in, and they're going around, they're purposely price gouging stuff.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's bad. That's such a bad example. So shame on you, Kalahari. See if I ever spend any money there any other time but at Colossal Con. So it was good. And then the map was a little bit confusing. But other than that, like, I think the layout was awesome. I think the panels that they had were phenomenal. Like, they did a very good job with the panels.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about going to these conventions are the various panels that they have, because they're little discussion groups about just things that you're really into, like Legend of Zelda or Final Fantasy, or pick any anime, and there's probably a group there for it.
Right.
And definitely the big thing this year seems to be Attack on Titan. The number of people cosplaying Attack on Titan was just huge.
Well, there was that giant Attack on Titan cosplay picture right in the front of the convention center. Like, everyone who was dressed as that, they were out there. There had to be at least 200-300 people. We have the pictures on the website, I think, of that. But it was just massive, and there were so many people.
Oh yeah, that's out of all the photo shoots that I think I saw going throughout the weekend, that was probably the biggest one. I saw a Final Fantasy group and a DC Marvel group and lots of other things, but the Attack on Titan definitely looked like the biggest one.
There's a lot of Doctor Who represented, too.
Oh yeah, Doctor Who's all over the place there.
It's almost August.
It is almost August. I can't wait.
You have to get caught up.
I was just gonna say that's the only time I have
to get caught up.
You can
They
do
put
it.
season 7 on Netflix. Everybody, if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it on Netflix.
I have to catch up on my other show.
No. Doctor
So,
Who's
who was your your favorite guest. They had some awesome guests come in.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, it's
Question
Vic.
who it was.
Over the last couple of years, I came across Vic Magnolia like 2 years ago. That was kind of the first time I saw him. Was I got invited by a couple of friends to sit in a panel of his where he was first talking about Star Trek Continues and his idea for it. And I was like, I've been getting into Star Trek because of the new movies and stuff. I wouldn't consider myself a Trekkie or anything like that. So I sat in and I heard his vision about him talking about Star Trek Continues and what he wanted to do with it. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do with all of my film ideas that I have. And he became a pretty quick inspiration for me, especially when I found out that, he's a Christian as well. And for a Christian to be able to be in such a secular setting and surrounding and still being able to keep his faith, it was very inspiring to see that you can be involved in all this stuff and yet still be a follower of Christ as well.
Well, and that when we sat in on the Q&A panel that he did, and he would talk about his faith in there, like, I thought that was really cool, because a lot of these Christians, and I'm using air quote, Christian actors.
On video, you can't see air quotes.
Yeah, Christian actors or actresses are like Christian in name only, and they don't talk about their faith outside of a particular interview or something like that. So it was really cool, and he's an awesome person. Like, it was neat to sit in and hear him. And I love Star Trek Continues. If you guys have not seen that web series, we wrote a couple articles on it. It's on Vimeo and YouTube, so look it up. They just came out with a new episode on Father's Day. It is a continuation of the original series episode Mirror Mirror, but their
one
episodes,
of my favorites, by the way.
Yeah, anytime they go.
Bizarro world where like they have like
it's
everybody has goatees all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Goatee, and that's what they do. Like in the opposite universe, you will have a goatee if you do not now. Even if you're a woman, it's the villain you. They have a goatee and a knife. That's just the way it is. But so it was a continuation of Mirror Mirror.
Does that mean that you're the evil one?
No, I'll actually be nice in the Mirror universe.
So you're evil now?
Yes.
That's how I'm saying.
We've established this.
Okay.
So, Karen just doesn't like me because I shoot down all of her ideas, which is not true, but she feels that way, which makes me sad. It's probably because I don't remember her name. Like, it just
that
is
could
awkward.
be a big point.
Like,
I mean, just shot in the dark.
I don't even feel like I offer that many ideas. I just think that I disagree with the way you think about things.
well, you know what, Karen?
And then at the end of the day,
so
it doesn't
much.
matter that
Okay. Anyway, but yes, Vic has definitely been one of my favorites over the last couple of years. And another interesting thing is that he has actually been having a little bit of a church service on the Sundays of Colossal Con, Sunday mornings.
Which is awesome, and we'll have video of that posted up within the week.
I took a video of it this past year while we were there. And it was very interesting. He shared his testimony and his whole life of growing up being a Christian, and how he eventually made it personal to him as well.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What other takeaways did?
We get him on the podcast. We're gonna have him on the podcast.
We're
talking about it.
We talked to him about it. We're working on it.
Yeah. I messaged him. He hasn't gotten back to me yet.
Vic?
Vic, please! Anytime, Vic!
Please, Vic. We would love to have you.
And I meant it when I said that I would love to come down and see the set sometime. Definitely. I will fly down to Jacksonville anytime.
Yeah,
just
the
let me know.
Faith Geek team will go down.
Yes.
Heather and I could renew our wedding vows on the bridge of the Enterprise. With Spock marrying us, so it would just be the greatest thing in my life.
So
ever.
Yeah.
And he has 4 kids. Just want to make sure that we're all aware of that.
They're not the greatest thing.
That would be the greatest thing in his life, not having 4 kids.
Where did this
Thanks,
come
Joe.
from?
Thank you.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Okay.
This is what happens when you do late night at the Faith Geek.
Well,
So-
besides Vic, the only other guest that I really got to do too much interaction with was Johnny Young Bosch.
Mhm.
And
Go Power
oh,
Rangers!
absolutely. That's for so long I didn't fully realize that that was him. He had played Adam in the original Power Rangers movie, and it was like because I primarily knew him as Ichigo in Bleach.
Okay.
And so many other voices that he's done, lots of other favorite characters. And but then when I found out that he was also in Power Rangers, I'm like, oh, that makes him even more better.
Rangers. We needed a sound clip of that.
I don't have it. Sorry.
Come on, Joe, you're falling asleep at the wheel. But no, Colossal Con was absolutely awesome. If you weren't able to make it out this year, make sure you check it out next year. Check out our blogs on it. Check out our videos and pictures on it. Because it really is a good time. Even if you could go out and make it for a day. Check it out. It was...
Good times.
It was good times.
Mm-hmm.
Heather actually wrote a really interesting blog about it. About the family friendliness of cons. And she talked about the pros and cons of taking your kids to it, which is something that we have to consider with us traveling as much as we do. Is it something that we could take the kids to? So if you're looking for a family friendly thing, like I think it would be family friendly as long as you know how to plan for it. So check out her blog on that to get some ideas. But enough talk.
Since July is con month, we want to make sure you're prepared.
Con month, special event month, yeah.
It's everything.
America's birthday.
Actually, we're kind of busy
Happy
with cons
birthday. How
throughout
did
the
you
rest of
forget?
the year,
Mhm.
now that we're looking at the schedule.
Yeah, July
not just-
through...
Yeah, not just
November.
July, but in August as well. I think there's at least one or two in September. October, we've got like 3 cons.
Yeah. We'll be down at Ohio Comic Con. We'll be at Niacon. But yeah, so we've got all the way through the rest of the year. We've got stuff going on. But there's other stuff that I want to talk about today. Posted an article about Google making a huge step in internet filtering, I guess we would call it. They sent out a letter to all their AdWords advertisers that deal with pornography, and they're like, hey, if you are a porn-based website and you're advertising through Google AdWords, in a couple weeks we're going to be taking it down and we're going to be hitting you with terms of service violations because we're not going to do it anymore. And they're starting to filter pornographic websites out of their search engines. So I wanted to get your guys's, because we are the Faith Geek, we deal with technology, but we also deal with it from like a Christian aspect. Do you guys think that's a good move on Google's part, or do you think it's starting to get into censorship and like, hey, let the internet be free, let the internet be what the internet was intended to be, and we should be responsible for our own filtering. If we want to protect our kids from seeing it, there's a lot of free sites that you could go to that are great internet search engine filters, and they're free. So, what's your take?
I do think, and following up, because the last podcast actually was about net neutrality, was the last one that we had. I really think that you do kind of have to, if you're going to be positive on one end, with net neutrality and trying to keep free internet free, I really think that you kind of have to take the good with the bad on that topic. And so, while I'm obviously against pornography and not, definitely don't want anybody looking at it, and it can be a stumbling block to people for more than just, sexual stuff. It can be a stumbling block for a multitude of things.
Right.
But, you got to make sure that you can't, we don't want to look like hypocrites and take one thing and take one part of scripture and then not the other one,
right?
Or be okay on one part and then not okay on another. Like,
I think Google really caved into the conservative groups that went in and petitioned, like, hey, let's get rid of this. Especially and I'll give a plug for XXX Church. Like, if you guys want a good
an amazing
search filter, XXX Church offers it for free on their website, and they also offer counseling to anyone who's struggling in that area. So, like, there are free services out there. I think Google is borderline running into censorship, and it's something that I won't support.
Yeah, honestly, I would, as much as I would like to live in a world where that's not a thing on the internet, I know
it's
that's
$1 billion industry,
right?
You know,
it's not going to be going away just because Google isn't going to have, porn searches or anything like that.
And
or,
I give Google credit because they're going to be losing a ton of money by not allowing these advertisers.
Right.
So obviously they've got convictions about it to where, like, hey, this is something we're going to stand firm by, because they're going to lose out on millions of dollars in ad revenue.
Who's to say also that they couldn't, Christian organizations might come to their quote-unquote rescue.
Yeah.
I mean, Google is... Let's not shed any tears for the money that Google is going to be running out on. They run YouTube,
and all of a
YouTube's
sudden our AdWords
out.
account is frozen, and all the money that we've earned, Google has just seized.
I mean, YouTube's not going away anytime soon.
Right.
There's a lot of
maybe
stuff.
Google Plus, because I think like 20 people use it.
I was saying,
wait a minute,
Google
that's
Plus.
still a thing.
It is. Like, it is. When we signed up for our Google Enterprise email accounts, like, they made us Google Plus. And I'm like, I don't even know how to work this. And they're like, people already in my circle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Huh?
When you get a Gmail account, it's the same way.
Yeah.
If you have a Gmail email, you've already had a Google Plus account. You also have a Google Calendar that you don't realize you're...
Oh, I use Google Calendar because you guys get my...
Yeah, we got that earlier.
updates from that. But yeah, so like... Bless you.
I must not be important because me and
I
Karen have never gotten a Google Calendar invite.
Got a Google Calendar invite.
Yeah, I have confirmation that you guys received it and you accepted it for All Americon. We'll talk about
Sure,
that.
absolutely. I mean,
you guys are lacking.
We're gonna be there.
I guess.
I haven't really eaten or slept much this week, so
Joe and Karen look like The Walking Dead right now.
We already established that earlier in the podcast.
Francis has fallen asleep over in the corner twice.
at least.
At least. But so yeah, what? And does anyone have an opposing view? Is anyone in support of what Google's doing?
I don't know that I'm in support of it, but I think as a private organization, they have a right to do it.
Right.
I mean, just as
Sure.
networks on TV have a right to censor what they're putting on. It's not like there aren't other search engines
Bing.
that will allow you to search for porn. So, but I think that.
And if you,
So if you need to know, should we give? If you need to know a good search engine to search for porn, I don't know.
And if you want, I say, and that's the kind of stuff that if you want to find it, you're going to find
it. Right.
Like, I mean, are you really Google searching porn sites? Like, I don't,
No.
I don't. There might be people out there that are.
Back in the day,
God bless them.
Back in the day, never mind. I won't tell that story. But like when a picture it would take 30 minutes to load, and dial up. But
I don't want to remember dial up. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't want to block that out of my mind. But so yeah, like I can see that it's private business. You guys do what you want to do, but then I would say don't bill yourself as the number one search engine out there, because now you're filtering stuff. They already have the family safe
maybe
filters.
you're the number 2.5 because you do everything but
that.
Well,
what I don't understand is they already have the family filters built in where you can go and set it to like strict, and it's not going to pull up anything that's profanity based or pornographic based.
Right.
And I'm sure that would filter out the ads as well. So I just say
one would imagine, but I mean, it does seem, knowing that those filters are there, it does seem like it's more of a morality-based decision than a money-based decision, or something that they're just doing because they feel like doing it. It does seem like something that is being brought about upon by guilty conscience or something.
But to me, this is like the federal government coming in and saying your school lunches can only be X amount of calories, and instead of serving a brownie, you need to serve carrots. Like, it's that nanny state mentality
But
where...
I like carrots.
I know, but just go with it. Asparagus. Is
I
that
like
better?
asparagus.
Brussels sprouts?
I'm okay with Brussels sprouts. Is it in butter sauce?
No, shut up. Like, seriously. No, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to have a dessert. You need to have a fruit or vegetable instead. Like, don't make decisions.
I don't like desserts. Karen, back me up. Do I like desserts?
We're not talking about desserts. Joe!
Did Skip mentioned in an article recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
He's unhuman.
did we write something about ADHD or something?
No, I wrote about
We're going to write about that tomorrow.
People who
but
don't like desserts.
But I would say if you're going to use the federal government as an example or comparison, that it would be like lobbyists telling the federal government what to mandate.
Well, that's exactly what it's like. Is what I'm getting at is like what gives Google, and you're not forced to use Google, but what I'm saying is like don't make decisions for people. Google,
Right.
let them make the decisions for themselves. What makes you think that you can make a better
Using
decision?
your cafeteria analogy, it's like a farmer is going to the school and saying you're not going to give them a brownie, you're going to give them our carrots,
Right.
And that's basically what
Yeah. And
so.
like I'm against that. I'm sorry, it doesn't work.
So you're
It's like-
against carrots.
I'm against. I love carrots with ranch.
See,
But
carrots
I
good.
prefer juicing mine.
that's gross.
Weirdo.
Do you
Oh,
pour ranch
what?
in it when you're juicing it?
No, I mix it with apple juice.
Ugh.
All
I-
right.
Oh, whatever.
That's how he gets his energy to go to raves.
No, wait, can
Yeah.
you please sidetrack and say that Chris juices the carrot, but he pours it on apple juice? Why not
Juice the apple?
The apple. That is...
Come on, Chris.
Wow. Obviously,
Mind
I am
blown.
surrounded by non-vegans here. I was only vegan
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Okay?
no. I've
It
never
was
been
a
vegan in
thing.
my life.
It was a thing.
Listen.
I did it for a little bit, okay? I
If-
was on a juicing diet.
If the
and-
zombie apocalypse ever happens, the first thing I'm going to eat is a vegan. Like, I'm serious.
As a zombie or as a person?
As a person, if like we're out of food, I'm going to track down the
okay,
vegans.
okay. Well,
That way you'll get your daily dose of vegetables.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
on the top. As long as there's a qualifier of after we ran out of food.
After we
I
run
was
out of
gonna say,
food,
it's
yeah.
like
It'll be.
I have a storehouse to last for a year and a half, but I need a
That's
vegan.
when it becomes a zombie.
The alert comes
down all the vegans.
But what I'll do
the
is
emergency broadcast system comes on and Brett just goes out next door. Hey, Todd, are you? You're still vegan, right?
we're fat. We're like foreshadowing what's going to happen on The Walking Dead, I think.
Oh,
So,
my.
but anyway, so
Nerdist has some sort of a July special coming out.
hey, let's stop plugging them. They don't plug us.
I know. I'm just saying. It's a thing.
I'm Chris Hardwick. I'm done plugging you.
I don't care.
We still
still
love
love
you. So Google and porn. Read about it on the blog. But the other thing I want to
And
talk
post
about
comments on it.
and post comments.
Yes.
The other thing I want to talk about, and Joe's actually going to be writing an article about this, is the whole Washington.
Sure, yeah. The Washington Redskins
they're a
lost
football
their
team, right?
trademark. Yes, Washington Redskins. Are they long-standing NFL team in the Eastern Division of the NFC, which is words that mean nothing to most people. They lost their trademark for their team, which is a very big deal in mostly more of a business circle than it is a sports story. But it does impact sports because 31 of the 32 teams in the NFL actually they pool their money. The Cowboys have their own licensing agreement, so none of the so Cowboys make their own money, and they're the only team in the NFL that, like, if you buy a Cowboys trademarked hat,
It goes to
jersey,
the
shirt,
Cowboys.
it goes only to the Cowboys,
Not to the NFL.
If you
and
buy a Cleveland Browns trademarked hat, shirt, jersey, wristband, whatever, but all that money goes into a kitty and then goes to gets dispersed amongst the 31 teams.
Okay.
So, that being said, because the U.S. Patent Service dropped the trademark that the Washington Redskins had on their team name and their logo, saying that it was a racist comment, or basically like a derogatory, offensive, derogatory, whatever. There's been a lot of steam lately for the Redskins to change their name because of its offensive nature. The mascot is a Native American chief.
Yeah, that's offensive, Joe. You better be careful.
My grandpa actually was a Native American, so and we lived out and you and I lived out in Oklahoma for a while. Yeah, we know full well that Native Americans are very different from anybody else. They
even on the reservations, they have their own police, they have their own judge. Their laws. I know when you're driving home from New York City, there's a particular part in Pennsylvania that you go through where it says you're now entering tribal territory. The laws of the United States of America do not apply here. You're under tribal law. And it's for a mile stretch. It's not very long. But it's that's scary. What are tribal laws? Are they going to... Never mind. That would have been an offensive comment.
It would have been.
It had something to do with scalping, but I'm not going to go there.
But it's been a long-standing argument against everything. And it affects a lot of mostly sports teams. Because there are teams. I'm a Cleveland Indians fan. Mm-hmm. Indians in and of itself is a offensive term to Native Americans.
And the mascot, I think, is far more offensive.
I think the Chief Wahoo is, and the Indians. I think they know that the Indians as an organization, they have made great strides to go away from the Wahoo face.
And they have tweaked it. Didn't they alter it a number of years ago a little bit? They changed the nose, I think.
Well, that was back in the 90s. Yeah. Even in the 80s, they changed it. If you look at old
it was horrible.
Logos, it was really bad. The nose was a lot bigger. The skin color was a lot different. And now it really looks more like a caricature, like it's more of an exaggerated picture.
Yeah. But still, I would say more offensive looking than the Redskins.
I agree. Yeah, the Redskins logo it's a native chief with a headdress. It looks very similar to what the Florida Seminoles logo is. The Seminoles are not really brought up as an offensive name because there is simply just the name of a tribe. So that's been a big. Sticking point with some of the people. They're saying, what's the difference really? There's this one, but it does affect not only the Redskins, because if somebody were to come in and take that trademark, it would affect revenue for the entire NFL.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We can call ourselves the Redskins now, use their logo, make money off of it because of what happened. They don't own the copyright to that anymore.
Right.
And where I have a problem with it is again, this is a private organization where the government has overstepped its bounds and saying, hey, you're not going to change it? We're going to make you change it.
Right.
Because now you can't hold a copyright on it. And this is unheard of. And I'm sure that...
Yeah, it's one of the weirder situations. And really, honestly, much like, everything in politics... I really feel like it was a little bit more of a lobbyist thing, being brought up by those that because like I said, they are starting. There has been a very big outcry, public outcry to get the name changed. The owner is staunchly against doing as such. It's a long-standing tradition in sports of if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And a lot of sports are like that. And you can see that, and you can see that tide changing with the Darlin Sterling incident. That there's a lot of there's a younger generation now, and a lot of the owners that were okay with some of those practices are gone.
Well, do you think they should change their name and logo?
I do. I don't like the Redskins. I mean, it's not the team or anything. I just don't like the term. Chicago Blackhawks out in hockey, but out in Chicago, obviously they they're again same as the
Well, what
Seminoles.
about the
They're
Penguins? Could that not be offensive to the Emperor Penguins?
Could be.
Like, where do we draw the line? I think this is where I'm going to disagree with you, because it's like someone's going to find offense in everything. You know what I mean? And this
right,
team's
and
been a team for 80 years.
a joke article today that somebody, the Yankees should change their name because it brings up reminders of the Civil War.
But I think you can say that of any sports team that's named after an actual human character. I mean, there could be people that make the argument that the Buccaneers should change their name.
Well,
I mean,
are you offended
anything.
by Notre Dame? You being Irish, are you offended by the fighting little redheaded Irish man? No,
no.
Irish people celebrate it. They go get drunk. I think the Native Americans should celebrate that.
But the term Redskins has a negative connotation.
But so does
to
Fighting
it.
Irish. It says that you guys are all hot-headed and all you do is fight.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah.
A song comes to
But
mind.
that's what I'm saying. Any
From Avenue
sports
Q.
team that uses a human character, it's going to offend someone, or has the potential.
So
to
then, do you
offend
get
someone.
rid of all human characters and you start naming it
the trees or
the Washington
or
apple trees?
or the
I
Cleveland
mean, you
Browns?
could go with
Then you have the nature people getting all
Upset.
up in arms
How
over
dare
that,
you use
or-
a Jonathan apple tree?
Or then the
It should be a
Dolphins would have to
Macintosh.
change their name because the animal rights groups and
Yeah.
all that.
Here's an idea. Government, stay out of it. You guys ruin everything
Well,
you
that's
touch.
I do
Period.
agree that the government should stay out of it. I think that it should come, if the change is going to happen, it needs to come from the team owners and the franchise itself. I mean, it means more if they do it anyway than if the government steps in and says, I'm going to smack you on the hand if you don't change it.
And I will say, having lived in Oklahoma where you live, you know as well as I do that the casinos out there play heavily into the stereotype of an Indian. So, to me, it's it's okay if they're making money off of it. They're going to use the tribal war paint and
much bigger conversation that branches a lot more branches than what we're getting into what we are going to have time to get into.
Right.
Because it's the conversation of that starts getting into the conversation of the N-word and what exactly is right to who and what not. And
how do you know?
And
you draw the line.
Yeah, and so that's a bigger conversation for another time. And I honestly don't know if we're really that's a conversation that we really need to have as the Faith Geek.
We can have it off the air.
We can talk about it whenever. I'm saying on the podcast.
But my point is, government, stay out of it. You have no business dabbling into private industry. Let this be decided. This would be a good thing for the NFL as an organization to sit down and take a look at what they're going to allow to be part of their organization.
And the reason I say that they should change it is because the vast majority of fans are against the name. I mean, the NFL does, ESPN or the NFL has multiple polls that I've seen that are honestly almost 90% or higher that they should change their name from the Redskins to something else. And, there's no more public outcry, honestly, in my opinion, than that. I mean, and these are tens of thousands of people taking this poll of honestly the most dedicated people that are sports fans, right? Because I read a sports blog and I've never voted on one of these polls. So
right.
I mean,
But then again, do you if someone came in and the Faith Geek logo is something that we find offensive, are we?
I don't know how they would find it offensive.
I don't either. He's awesome. But
I'm offended by small men that wear glasses. I don't know.
Well, there goes half of us. But are we gonna cave to the pressure of the fans and be like, you know what, we should change our logo, or are we gonna say, hey, listen, this is our company. This is what we're gonna do.
Look at the goodwill that the Clippers organization has right now.
Yeah.
after getting rid of Donald Sterling and the comments that he made, and the majority of the fact that was brought about by the fans, brought about by the players. The NBA was ready. Every team in the playoffs, in the chance to try to win a championship, every single team playing that night were ready to not play. Were ready to boycott and step out of their games and not play, forfeit the games, have them rescheduled, whatever happens. If Adam Sterling, the commissioner of the NBA, or Adam Silver, it's late, didn't kick out Donald Sterling and get him out of the NBA for life.
But you and I disagreed on that issue too, because.
But I'm saying, like, the goodwill that the NBA and the Clippers organization, has from fans and from just media, from the public, there's no way you would be able to spin that as a bad idea to Dan Snyder.
Well, I don't think you can really honestly compare. When you look at what, diving back into history, our government did to an entire culture in terms of murdering them off, it's a much bigger deal than a little figure wearing glasses. I mean, they have a legitimate gripe with
America.
It should be the federal government and not the Washington Redskins.
But it's probably much more likely to offend someone for real, than the Faith Geek emblem is going to offend someone for real. And like Joe said, I think in terms of a goodwill gesture to the fans, to the original inhabitants of America,
honestly, it's only going to be it's only going to be a moneymaker for the Redskins and for the NFL, because if they change their logo and change their name,
everyone has to rebuy merchandise.
Everybody got to rebuy their stuff. All those Washington fans got to go out and spend that money.
It is the L. Ron Hubbard approach to sports.
It is just re-release it every so often. They're taking their notes from Scientology. But I don't follow sports. But has this ever happened where not like this, but has there ever been a team that they're like, we're going to completely change?
Oh, they've changed names. They've changed.
It would kind of be like the Browns and the Ravens.
That was a situation, but even NBA has changed teams and locations very much. They moved the Seattle Supersonics. Somebody, the guy that owns the Thunder now, the Oklahoma City Thunder, bought the team from the owners in Seattle. With the promise that he wasn't going to move the team, in air quotes, and within 2 years had them in Oklahoma City. Not saying Oklahoma City didn't deserve a team,
right?
But there was no reason for him to move him out of Seattle. There was still a viable and a
bless you.
Thank you. A decent stadium in Seattle. It wasn't like they were playing in a YMCA gym,
right?
That they had to bring the goals down from the rafters or anything like that.
Awesome.
He hijacked them, and that guy is now. I mean, they changed the name, they changed everything of that team, and that guy is now reviled in Seattle. Every team that's bought now, every owner that buys a team, has to promise the NBA that they are not going to move the team to Seattle, because that's almost honestly a provision in the contracts that they sign, because they don't want them to move, because it was such a pain, such a travesty to the fans in Seattle that they moved the team. It happens all the time. They moved a team out of Charlotte and moved them to New Orleans.
So it's happened before in other sports organizations where same people, different jersey.
Yeah. Montreal in baseball moved to Washington. Montreal Expos out of nowhere just moved to Washington.
But that's like a whole
country. It was a struggling fan base. Like Montreal wasn't really, they had good fans, but it was it wasn't as big of a moneymaker as if they had once they moved him to Washington.
Right.
Actually, Jonah Carey for Grantland wrote a book about this. He's Canadian. He wrote a book about.
Well, they prefer watching moose.
Jonah Carey,
up there.
Please God, come on the podcast. I would love to interview.
Well, I just
you.
insulted the Canadians, so
That's
I highly
fine.
doubt
Yeah,
he's going to
he's
come
not
on.
listening.
Way to go.
One, he's not listening, and two, they would probably apologize for you making fun of them.
This is true. I don't know what you're talking about. I just did it again.
But,
so easy to insult.
But yeah, I mean, so this kind of thing, changing the name, changing a logo has happened before, and like I said, honestly, it would do nothing but good things for Washington to do it. There would be no downside. I mean, yeah, you could, he'd have to go to bed knowing that he caved, but
The
he
fans
can
would
cry.
appreciate him
He
more
can
for
cry
doing it.
himself to sleep on his bed of money.
Yeah. I understand that.
Many times over.
And I really
So-
honestly don't care because I hate sports other than the government involvement. That's the thing that really
Yeah.
bothers me.
Yeah.
But hey,
So I can get you a Redskins hat and you just start wearing a Redskins
just
stuff.
to tell the
Just-
government to kiss my butt, federal government.
And on that note,
Like I say, on that note, we're gonna
as
get
the
out of
NSA
here.
and FBI are breaking down our door now because this is 2 podcasts in a row that I've went after them.
Sure. 2 different places though, they can't find us.
That's
it'll be
true.
a long drive home.
We'll keep
We'll be
mobile.
Sitting in our parking lot.
We keep mobile on
Mobile.
We keep mobile on the laptop. Nobody knows where we're at.
Right.
I live in Newcastle, PA. But yeah, so that would be it for us. Anybody have anything? Happy birthday, Ben.
Thank you.
Aw.
You can take your cake with you.
Karen
Yeah,
Bell.
we'll take one.
Thank you, Karen Bell, for
She's
making the
asleep.
birthday
Hey,
cake.
we have lost
Sweetie
half
of the
a
Faith
third.
Geek team to Mr. Sandman. So you know that
It's
the
that
late
time.
night Faith Geek episode should probably come to an
Yes.
end.
So,
So
alright,
this has
guys.
been at midnight. Oh wait,
Not quite. It's Friday now. Or Saturday now. It was Friday night.
Past midnight.
I don't know what's going on anymore. But we will, I don't know when we're going to podcast again, but it's coming up on July, so make sure you come out and see us at the All-American in Warren.
we should be podcasting next week, hopefully with our special guests.
Yes. We will talk about that off air.
Yeah.
Which is going to happen right now.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Faith Geek podcast. The Faith Geek podcast is brought to you by thefaithgeek.com, your online Christian resource for all things geek culture. Remember, you can always listen to this and any of our archive shows by visiting www.thefaithgeek.com.